So you're a Jeep owner, and that annoying error code P023A has just lit up your dashboard. It's frustrating, I get it. But hey, don't worry. This is a known issue and it has some really clear solutions. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that code means, why it actually matters for your engine, and, most importantly, how you can get it fixed, step by step. You know the feeling. You're just cruising along, everything's fine, and then, bam, that little orange light starts staring back at you. It's so tempting to just try and ignore it, right? But that light is your Jeep trying to talk to you. So instead of stressing about what could be wrong, let's actually figure out what it's saying. All right, first up, let's get this code translated from, computer speak into plain English. Because honestly, knowing what you're really up against, that's half the battle right there. And there it is, straight from the vehicle's brain. Charge air cooler coolant pump control circuit / open. Okay, I know, that is a mouthful. It sounds super technical and complicated, but I promise the actual problem is way simpler than it sounds. This right here nails it. The easiest way to think about it is like a dropped phone call. Your Jeep's main computer, its brain, is trying to tell a very specific pump what to do, but the line is dead. That's what circuit / open means. And this is a pretty big deal. That pump has a critical job, cooling the air your engine breathes. See, hotter air is less dense, which means less oxygen, and that can lead to less power, worse fuel economy, and just an all-around sluggish feel. So if we want to find the fix, we first have to understand the system where things went wrong. Let's pop the hood, figuratively speaking, of course, and take a quick look at how this whole cooling system is supposed to work in the first place.
This is probably the best analogy for it. You know how your main radiator cools the engine itself? Well, the Charge Air Cooler System, or CAC, does the exact same thing, but it does it for the air that's getting crammed into the cylinders by the turbo. And why does that matter? Simple. Cooler, denser air is packed with more oxygen, and that gives you a way more powerful and efficient bang in the engine. So ignoring a problem here doesn't just mean you're losing power, you're making your engine work a lot harder than it should.
Okay, now this slide is interesting because it basically gives us our list of suspects. That P023A code is telling us that somewhere in this little family of parts, something's not right. The pump itself is usually the main suspect, but really, any one of these components could be the reason for that communication breakdown. All right, time to put on our detective hats. We are not just going to guess and start throwing parts at the problem. No. In this diagnostic phase, we're going to be methodical. We'll use a process of elimination to hunt down the exact source of the issue. Our investigation points to 4 main culprits. The evidence usually points to one of these. Either the pump has just completely failed, the coolant passages are all gunked up and clogged, the special little radiator for this system is busted, or a sensor has gone bad and is sending out bad info. Our job now is to figure out which one it is. And now for the most important part, the solutions. The great news is that for each of these potential causes, there is a specific, pretty straightforward fix. This is where we turn our diagnosis into a real plan of action. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. The key thing to see here is that this isn't guesswork. It's a clear one-to-one deal. If your detective work proves the pump is bad, well, you replace the pump. If you find the coolant is old and sludgy, you flush the whole system. A leaky radiator gets a new one, and a faulty sensor gets replaced. It's just that logical. Okay, we've done the detective work. We totally get the system. We've identified all the suspects, and we know exactly what the solutions are. Now let's put it all together into your action plan to get that check engine light turned off and get your Jeep back on the road running the way it's supposed to. Think of this as your practical to-do list. You want to work through these steps in order. Start with the pump and its electrical connection. That's the most common problem. If that all checks out, move on to the coolant passages. See if there are any blockages. After that, take a look at the CAC radiator for any leaks or damage. And finally, test that sensor to make sure it's actually working. I guarantee one of these steps is going to reveal the problem. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. The experts agree. This isn't some crazy engine-destroying disaster. It's a manageable problem that, if you approach it the right way, can be solved without a massive headache. The key here is taking smart, informed action. So here's the bottom line, the main thing to take away from all of this. That check engine light for code P023A, it's not a stop sign. Think of it more like a signpost. It's pointing you directly to a specific, understandable, and most importantly, fixable problem. And you now have all the knowledge you need to follow that signpost all the way to the solution. So we'll end on this question. You've seen the system, you know the suspects, and you've basically got the treasure map to the solution right in your hands. The only question left is, where are you going to start? Thanks for tuning in. Now go get that dashboard clear.